I just want to let y'all know, if you have a question during the show, we want to hear it. Your input is a big part of what makes this show great, and we thrive on your energy and insights. Whether it's a quick comment, a thoughtful question, or an opinion you just have to share, please don't hesitate to drop it in the chat. Now, if you want to make absolutely sure your message stands out and gets featured on the show, there's an easy way to do that. Use that super chat feature. Use the super chat feature. Just click the $ at the bottom of the chat box to send in your super chat. This guarantees that your message gets on the air, and it's also a fantastic way to support our channel. We rely on your support to keep bringing you the sports content you love, and we appreciate every bit of it. So go ahead, let us know what you're thinking. Hit that super chat button, and let's keep this show as interactive and exciting as possible. And if you prefer, you can also go to the gsmcpodcast.net to tip, donate, and leave a comment or question there. We couldn't do what we do without your amazing support, and we're so thankful to have you as part of our community. We start off though with the Joan Laporta comments that he had. And his, he always has that conference, as the president of Barcelona, he has the conference where he talked about Dani Olmo, Deco, Hansi Flick, and some of the players, some of the transfer strategy like Gundogan, Malay, Cancelo, Go, Victor Roque. He went on to cover a lot, Camp Nou, the finances, all that. But it was the comments that he made about Hansi Flick that's left a lot of people talking about, specifically the way the comments sounded. It did sound like a diss, like a sneak diss to Xavi. And we'll just go straight into it. We'll read the quotes that came out. So let's go total whatever Joan Laporta said. First, he discussed Barcelona and if they'll be able to there's financial situation in terms of being able to sign players. Yes, this is what he said. Yes, we will be able to sign players normally in January because we plan to arrive at La Liga's 1-1 rule before then. When you say sign, we can sign players. The problem is the registration with the league. It'll be easier once we reach the 1-1 rule. For now, though, we're not thinking of any player for January because we are happy with the squad we have. But Deco, the sporting director, and his team are working hard to analyze what's needed medium and long term. We are satisfied with what we have. Dani Olmo was the priority, and we have signed him. I said we can make a big signing, and that has proven true. Laporta also went on to talk about the renegotiation of the club's agreement with Nike. We could have easily reached 1-1 already through signing the Nike deal, but we didn't want to. We wanted to improve some terms. What we're going to sign will be the best contract in the world of football. Laporta also made some comments on Gundogan, who was able to rejoin Manchester City at the end of this transfer window, and said Gundogan leaving was strictly a sporting decision. Even though Gundogan came out and said, if my departure can help the club financially, it makes me a bit less sad. So Laporta speaking, saying, Gundogan is a great player and an excellent person. He was magnificent in his year here, but after a meeting he had with Flick, assessing the situation within the squad for sporting reasons, he decided he wanted to leave. For us, it was purely a sporting decision taken by the club and the player. With the arrival of Dani Olmo, he was a player who plays a similar role. I have read that it was an economic decision, but no, it has economic repercussions, but that was not the reason. We let him leave for free because he had joined as a free agent, so it was the fair thing to do. So And then that's not the end. Laporta also talked about Deco. There was reports in Spain talking about uh, the problems. Uh, there was reports in Spain talking about the problems adding to the squad had really frustrated Deco, and to the point that he even considered leaving his position. Laporta said, "I have worried for his health because it's a very stressful all this stuff. It's been a really stressful summer, but I've never worried about him not continuing with the club. There's confidence between us to the point that if there was any problem, we would speak with each other. We can be satisfied with the work he has done. Thanks to him, we have appointed Flick as coach and renewed the deals of all the young players at the club. Zico is also the architect of the new fitness staff we have brought in this summer. He has reduced the wage bill and improved the squad. He is doing a great job. The nucleus of the project is La Masia." Okay, now, no. Okay, that's okay. This is the part where it gets interesting. So, obviously, Barcelona has started their campaign off really well. 4 wins out of 4. They're looking good. Hansi Flick has this Barcelona team looking like a real, real deadly team that's on the verge of doing something special. And Laporta, obviously he's really, really happy with that. But some of these comments, go a little bit more than just appraisal of Hansi Flick. It's almost a sort of, the criticizing of Xavi, if you really break down what he says. So he says, this is Hansi Flick. The nucleus of the project is La Masia, and Flick has shown that with his use of academy players in the first team, we are excited, but we don't want to get carried away. Flick immediately understood that La Masia is our treasure. He knows that the academy is the center of our project, and I'm happy he has been so quick to put youngsters into the team. He has been brave. He's a coach that doesn't make excuses. I see a lot of intensity. When I spoke with fitness coach Julio Tos, he told me they are using a different method now. The exercise and training are really dynamic, a lot of strength work. We have a coach that wants to press until the 90th minute. After the Man City game in preseason, he was angry because we only pressed until the 70th minutes. I like how demanding he is. Now, there was more quotes talking about him, talking about Hansi Flick not making excuses. I need to find I need to find those quotes. But it was, and it's really harsh on Xavi because, look, Xavi did value La Masia. From these quotes, it seemed like he's making it seem like, Xavi did not care about La Masia and Hansi Flick is the only one that really starting to believe it. That's not true. A lot of young players came up the ranks through Xavi. I mean, think about the opportunities he gave in his first season. The players that got to play like Abdi Ezal Zuli, that core of youngsters in that period. Some of them wasn't even good enough to actually make it out of Barcelona at that point. And then you see some of the players now like Lamine Yamal that got into the first team because of Xavi. It's sort of it's really harsh. It's really harsh. It's really, 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 really harsh. Um, mm, 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 mm. There's been plenty of players that made their debuts, um, uh, La Masia debuts, under under Xavi. A lot of young players came up. So for me, I just think it's a sort of diss. It has to be, and it makes no sense why. Because Xavi did bring players up from La Masia. He has a whole crew of players. He relied on youngsters, especially in his first, that first season. He believed in them, and and it was just Well, I don't understand that. And then he talked about he doesn't make excuses. Okay, yes, Xavi had a few moments where he talked about the financial situation at the club, and obviously that rubbed Joan Laporta the wrong way. But for me, it's just unnecessary and it's ridiculous to treat a club legend like that, who you initially sort of convinced him to stay on as Barcelona manager, just to end up firing him a few months later. I just don't understand how the disconnect between Flick and Xavi got so bad in such quick time, because it was a point of in February that Laporta was trying to convince Xavi to stay on. 2-3 months later, and Laporta is firing Xavi. I don't get it. I think the comments are harsh. I don't think Xavi was an excuse maker. I think the few moments that he talked about the financial situation in the club and all that, he was right. He was right. The few moments that he talked about it, he was saying the truth, and he wasn't making excuses. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Let me just let me just name you the La Masia talents that made their Barcelona debut under Xavi. Lamine Yamal, Pau Kubarasi, Chadi Riyad, Fermin Lopez, Mark Guille, Mika Marmol, Ferran Jutgla, Hector Fort, Elias Homash, Mark Casado, Estanis Pedrola, Inaki Peña, Angel Alarcon, Alex Garrido, Alvaro Sanz, and this doesn't include a lot of the players from the Abdi Ezal Zuli reign, early on in Xavi's reign as Barcelona manager. So yeah, it's nonsense. It's nonsense that and he didn't, to be fair to Laporta, he didn't come out and just say he didn't value La Masia, but you could tell from the comments. And then he talked about, the excuse making, and all that, which I can't find the comments exactly. I want to read exactly what he said discussing that aspect. I couldn't find the exact comments regarding that, but it was also very, very interesting things he had to say. But look, overall, Hansi Flick, he's had a great start. There's no two ways about it. He's been great. The way that they've started off, how they're looking more vertical, more looking to play that forward ball. It's been a great start for Barcelona. There's no two ways about it. And yes, Joan Laporta has every right to be very happy about Hansi Flick, but there's a way you could address Hansi Flick without sort of sneak dissing Xavi, and we all know he intended to. He intended to do that, but yeah, it is what it is.